Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace, my go-to for building a website and online shop. Hello everyone! Let's finally finish this new oil painting for the Grimm Brothers Fairytale inspired group show at Arch Enemy Arts Gallery in Philadelphia. If you'd like to see several hours of real-time tutorials where I record voiceover as I was painting, along with hundreds of hours of exclusive content and monthly art rewards, including a monthly live stream, feel free to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/happydartist. To quickly recap, we started with a transferred concept sketch using carbon paper on gesso board panel. Then we did an ebouche underpainting that looks kind of rough but gets the job done in establishing the preliminary color temperature relationships. And then we waited for that underpainting to dry and rendered the main pass where the majority of the heavy lifting took place. This is where I carefully worked wet on wet to create intentional edges, soft blending, and tight rendering. I got the piece to be about 80% finished by the time I finished the main pass, and the last 20%, which is my favorite part of the process, is reserved for the glazing pass, which is what this video is mainly about. But before I start glazing, I wanted to make some time in this video to show you how difficult it was to render this freaking bird cage hat thing. Oh my gosh, trying to paint geometric shapes like ellipses, cylinders, straight lines, etc. is so hard. And trying to retain such thin, smooth lines was absolute torture. I was having a bad painting day that day too, and I got so frustrated with the cage that I literally wanted to cry many times. I think I actually welled up with tears at least once or twice. So note to self in the future, give yourself way more time and practice on some smaller studies before trying to tackle anything geometric or man-made. Man-made objects like cages or buildings or cars or plates need to be perfectly accurate. So if you draw an ellipse that is like slightly off, slightly too round, slightly too sharp, it's noticeable. If the spacing of the vertical bars on the birdcage is slightly inconsistent, it's noticeable. So it's not like painting natural elements like foliage, clouds, water, etc., where the measurements don't have to be exactly precise and there's a lot of forgiveness in the variability. Painting man-made objects and geometrical objects require so much precision that you'll find yourself kind of reworking in an area over and over again until it's perfect. And that will drive you to the edges of insanity. After tackling that birdcage, honestly, the rest of the piece went by so smoothly and felt so effortless in comparison. I had devoted one entire day to just the birdcage and a little bit of time for the bird. And then the next day, I finished the entire rest of the piece. The leaves in particular were really fun to paint because they were nice and organic in shape and therefore more forgiving. And I was surprised at how much I enjoyed painting the dress. Because the rest of the piece was jam-packed with detail, I tried to make the dress a bit more subdued. So I kept the value range here mostly quite dark. I relied a lot on revealing the rough brushstrokes of the underpainting to convey the texture of the fabric. And this is where overblending is actually counterproductive. Rather, instead, we want to just lay down each brushstroke side by side, one at a time, and leave it alone, and let their individual edges and textures shine. Okay, and the last and final thing I was saving for the very end was glazing over the face. I purposefully reserved this for my last step because it's always so fun for me to glaze over the face, and I wanted to kind of keep it as a reward for finishing the more difficult, less fun parts earlier. But for the face glazing, I primarily wanted to soften her expression from kind of disapproving to, more vulnerable and kind. Also, by the time I finished rendering all the different components of the piece, the initial pass on the face just felt kind of pale, flat, and washed out. So I wanted to add some warmer contrast and luster to her as well, and just overall help kind of bring her to life some more. Overall, This piece that only measures 11 by 14 inches ended up taking me much longer than some pieces that were a lot bigger than this. There were many challenges along the way, mostly self-inflicted due to my ADHD and procrastination habits, but I can now proudly celebrate the fact that I did finish it, despite wanting to give up several times and having a lot of mini meltdowns along the way. But yeah, that about wraps up today's video. This piece is currently on display and available at the Wait for the Moon group show at Arch Enemy Arts in Philadelphia until June 15th. So if you're in the Philly area, feel free to go check it out. And if you're interested in fine art prints, I have those listed now in my shop at happyd-artist.com. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. And of course, you guessed it, my eternal never-ending sale is still going on in my shop, so if you'd like 20% off your order of prints and originals, just enter the code HOLIDAY at happyd-artist.com. And if you're interested in learning more about how to paint and draw, I have lots of art educational content on my Patreon page, including exclusive video tutorials, step-by-step photo tutorials, live streams, podcasts, and even surprise art gift boxes. All available at patreon.com/happydartist. I'd love to have you join my Patreon family. A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting the art community. I've been using Squarespace for 10 years now, and it's been an integral part of being able to make a living as an artist. Aside from their beautiful, customizable templates and easy-to-use interface, Squarespace now has so many robust tools to help make website building be both effective and intuitive. There's a new design intelligence feature that uses a combination of industry experience and cutting-edge AI to help you make a website bespoke to your brand and digital identity. Squarespace takes the intimidation out of setting up an online shop with their intuitive e-commerce platform that accepts every type of payment method you can imagine, all with just a few simple clicks, so you can easily sell your work all around the world. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/happydartist to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist.